All right, what's happening, everyone? It's Thursday? Yeah, Thursday. A good Thursday to you, and this video will hopefully drop on Thursday, but depends on how long the editing takes. But we're here for another multi-topic video. We've got kind of like this gear pricing, industry pricing topic to start off with, and then we're going to get into later in the video kind of some things that we're gassing for, some gear that we are gassing for. We're waiting for the FedEx man to come today for something. And you are waiting for something. We'll talk about what that is, so you can stick around for the teaser of what's coming our way. But we want to talk about stuff that we like. We want to talk about stuff that we're after. We're not just, again, like our last video, we're not just always like hawking products all the time. We're guitar guys as well, and we love to talk about gear and what we like. So we'll get there in a second, but we're going to try to condense this guitar pricing subject into like a shorter video if we can. So we've got a lot to discuss, but this is the general topic of guitar pricing in the industry, like from pedals to guitars to amps to effects to strings. Everything is a lot more than it was, right? Everything is more expensive, and we've seen prices take small jumps in certain things. We've seen prices take huge jumps, like 20-30% in some cases. And so you ready to dive into this thing?
Let's dive into it.
Okay. First thoughts about just kind of where pricing is, like what comes to your mind right away? Like unfiltered, here's Marco's thoughts on this.
Yeah, I think everything is definitely crawling up to a point where, you know, it's past the point where, you know, if it was a price increase where it was just a little bit, you almost maybe wouldn't even notice. Mm-hmm. But I feel like stuff is like noticeably more expensive, and you could get ready to spend like $100, $200 more on the same thing. Like, for instance, in 2020, I bought one of those Fender Player Telecasters for $700. $700. It was brand new, and I picked it out of, you know, all of the finishes that they had. But now that same guitar will run you, I think it's like $950 or $1,000. I think it's at least $900. Wow. So even that is like, you know, and that's a Mexican-made Fender, and it's an awesome guitar, and you can find some good ones. But you're like, oh yeah, that's a big difference. You know, that's enough to, like, oh, I have to keep saving for that or whatever. So it's impacting all of us that are gear purchasers. And, you know, I believe that, you know, this stuff should be expensive because that is going back to the, to the manufacturer, the builder, or, you know, that's helping further them, and you want to pay stuff for what it's worth. But yeah, it does it can get pretty insane, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, certain brands have just like went from like expensive to really expensive. Some of the like the retail pricing has kind of flipped. Like, you know, people are getting rid of like the map stuff, and the list and the map are kind of one. And so then a lot of companies sort of eliminated that and then just jumped straight to the, you know, the list price is this, and so it ended up being like that 20-25% increase in some of those things, like almost overnight whenever they made that decision. And so we're going to talk about this from a couple angles. One from a manufacturer angle, like how do we come up with our pricing? What is our philosophy behind the pricing? And we won't get too deep in the weeds of that. But sometimes you see stuff that is like, you know, if you look at pickups around there's $1,000 sets of pickups, and there is $20 sets of pickups, and kind of where do you fit in that spectrum? And we've kind of tried to stay in this what felt like middle ground, and now it feels a little bit like lower middle ground in a way. Yeah. Like some pickups out there have gotten really, really expensive, and sometimes I think too expensive, to be honest, for what actually goes into it. But we've tried to find this place where we're a little bit more than your bigger USA shops, but we're a lot less now. I mean, I feel like in some ways we're cheap compared to some of these other companies. So yeah, what do you think about where we sit? And then I'll get into kind of philosophies of pricing. But you said something before we turned on the cameras, like why we're priced at the place that we are is for a good reason.
Yeah. Well, and it's like obviously in this like economic system that we're in, like if you can sell whatever you're selling for the most amount of money, like that's awesome. And that is like why you do what you do. You know, you want to make the most money for the time spent working. But it really, once you kind of get past a certain point, like you were saying, like there's like $1,000 sets of pickups, and they probably sound killer. You know, that's not what we're debating here. But it's just like once that's the tag on there, indirectly it does kind of like some people are never going to spend that kind of money on their guitar, like that's like a whole other guitar kind of money,
That is.
So it's like this upgrade, your opportunity cost is a guitar or an amp or a couple pedals. So there's not a lot of people that are in that, demographic. There is some people that are in that demographic, and obviously they're the ones buying that stuff, but it just, you kind of are excluding some demographics, and we really just want to get our pickups in as many people's hands as possible. And whether you make, 100,000 a year or 30,000 a year, it's like, we've got a pickup for you. And we're not, we're not trying to just squeeze every last little bit out of there. We really want to make these like a sound investment for people. And even at our price point, like there is still people that come in and they're like, oh, well, maybe I'll get, just one, and then I'll get the other one next month or something. And that's cool. And we're always down to do that and work with people kind of in that way. But we really just want to include everyone, If you want better tone, come to the shop and we'll figure out a way to make that happen. Price, in regards to price, or, we'll, you can work with it, I think.
Yeah. And it's like the price, if it's kind of relative to all industries, right? If you're going to have a massive corporation and you've got like hundreds of employees, you've got to have product that there's money left over to pay all the things. We're a small shop. We still have 3,000 square foot shop. We've got rent. We've got millions of dollars of insurance policies we have to keep to protect ourselves and our neighboring businesses, and we've got multi-$1,000s of equipment to then make the pickups efficiently and to get them out quickly, to keep our consistency and our quality. A year and a half ago we bought a customized eyelet press. It was like $6,000 just for putting eyelets in flat work, but it's something that is amazing and we love it. And so it's interesting when you look at these pricings and I agree with you. You can get the price for it. I think there's some pricing that's ridiculous in our industry. I'm just going to say it, but if you can get it and people want to pay it, then good for you. Like free, it's a free country, free economy, go for it. But it is like where we want to be able to keep the lights on, but we want to be able to kind of like get them out there as many places as we can. That's why we launched the Gatekeeper line, because the Gatekeepers are $99 a set. If you haven't checked out our Gatekeepers, you should do that, because that's a killer value. If you want to upgrade your guitar, but you don't want to spend $250, $300, you can spend $100 and still get a better sound. And that's something that we were just really excited about offering, and kind of going the other way, right, in pricing, like just stopping with the increases and going the other way. So that's sort of why we are priced where we're at. We haven't raised prices in a little while. I think 2020 we raised prices a little bit. A few things here and there will probably go up. But typically when we raise a price on a set of pickups, it's usually $10 or $15. We're trying really not to go, all of a sudden the set is, it's $275 and now it's like $400. We're not planning on doing anything like that. But we are looking at everything. We've cut some models this year. We've looked at some stuff that takes a lot longer, and so some of that will cost more just because it takes one of us to do. Case in point, the loaded pick guards. I just finished up this very beautiful HSS open top deluxe guard, mini toggle, push pull. That takes a long time to wire up. You can see on the back here, it is all nice and neatly wired. That just takes a long time to build a custom shop set of pickups, then wire up the pick guard. So a guard like this is going to be a little bit more than our standard HSS guards. This one will also be available when this video drops. Guessing it's not going to last more than a couple days. They go pretty fast, but check our Reverb store for this guard if you're interested. I think that one might become like a build to order thing where we can just keep building kind of the same thing. Because that really gets people excited. So let us know in the comments what you think about the guitar pricing thing. We all love buying gear. Well, I know you don't like buying gear, but I do. And when it comes to buying gear, you're like, man, I just don't get, like it's like everything, right? Groceries and all that stuff. You just don't get, $100 in groceries is like a couple bags of Doritos and like a pack of gum. So last thing I'll say on this is I don't want to take a shot at California, but I feel for our friends who have gear businesses in California because of the so many regulations, so much extra expenses, and even some of the places minimum wage is like so much where you have to pay everyone a ton of money, and it's like expenses go up and up. So some of our favorite companies that are in California have really had to raise their prices significantly, and so I don't envy that position. It's not necessarily that much cheaper to live where we're living, but it's also, man, it just makes it hard. It makes it hard to keep the lights on, or you've got to meet new EPA regulations for your spray booth, and then that's $100,000 extra to like re-outfit it. I mean, people are going through that all the time. So think about that too. The only thing I would say in defense of price increases is that there's still a ton of people making really, really good made in USA products that are standing behind their work and really really just kicking butt, and they have people to pay, and they want to pay a fair wage because many of those places, like even some of the places in California, they can't really pay enough to like buy a house in that area. And same for us. I mean, we're all just like how do we kind of make this all fit and make sure everyone's fairly compensated, and just know when you buy a set, the money is going to all sorts of things that you probably don't see. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. All right, so we had to stop this video because of part of this new gear gas, and we got a new guitar in today, and we're actually like wanting to hurry up and finish this video so we can go open up the box. But I'll just kind of share what that is, and then we'll get through maybe just a list of some things that we're gassing for this year, and we'd love to know down in the comments what are you guys after gear wise. It could be porter pickups, or it could be a new guitar or a new pedal. So we just got from our friends at Wildcat Guitars in California, we just got a PRS S2 594. So very excited. It's like in a box in the other room, and we're just like, I don't even care about this video anymore. I want to go I want to go open it. But that's how it is, new guitar day. So it's like the only time we're happy to be interrupted making a video, right? It's like, okay, well, I guess you're bringing us a new guitar, and so we're really excited about them. They're at Wildcat Guitars. They're going to be a Porter Pickups dealer, so in the next few weeks they will have some stock of Porter Pickups, and we're just excited about working more with them, and also to they've been carrying Paler guitars for a while, which we've worked a lot with Paler, so they have Paler guitars loaded with our pickups in their shop. So it's just kind of been this growing relationship within that world with them. So excited for that. We'll have tons of content on that, lots of demos. Okay, your turn.
Yeah, my turn. I've been so obsessed with Novo guitars lately. It's a long time. It's been a long time. There was pictures in my phone of looking at some of their screen grabs of some of the stuff they were dropping pretty early on, like kind of around when we were at the NAMM show and stuff. But so I finally was able to kind of like get one coming my way, and it's one of those
so exciting,
really cool German carve F1s. Those of you that are dedicated viewers of the channel know I love a Tele and Tele bridge pickup. So to me, I'm like, well, that's everything I need. Plus, it's just, I just saw it and I just kind of was like, okay, that one. And I kind of am that way. I'll just see something and then go back the next day and get it.
You held off for a long time. I mean, the gas has been strong for years for you. And so like you finally tripped over the dog in the corner of the house or whatever. That's a weird saying.
And it plays into like, the price increase and stuff. And those things they're not cheap by any means, but I do believe that, it should be that expensive, so that they can make money and pay their people what it's worth, because it's cool. I remember when we were in California at the NAMM show, I picked up a few of them just to kind of get a feel for them, because it is tricky for me getting something like without playing it.
Yeah.
But it just kind of worked out, and so we're excited to kind of get one into the shop and see what it's all about. And obviously, one pickup guitars, I feel like they're very polarizing. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I hear is that they can maybe be limiting with, the pickup that's in there. But obviously, by nature of what we do, we can do a lot to tweak some of those variables. And I'm going to really make that kind of not sound like what you think it should sound.
Yeah,
So I
that's so
have
cool.
plans for it.
That's super cool. Yeah, and I think guitar-wise, obviously, there's a lot of different things that we're always looking at. And then for me, there's like the Poly Effects Bebo, which is a pedal I've just been really curious about. Kind of getting into this, you know, as we talked about before, kind of staying inspired to like keep creating weird guitar sounds and kind of keep exploring all these different guitar angles. So that's one pedal that I've definitely been gassing for. Is there anything else that comes to mind? I mean, you're certainly like zeroed in on this Novo now. Like,
yeah. And it's funny now that it's on its way. Now I'm kind of like, all right, what's the next one gonna be? And I'm like,
it hasn't even showed up, and you're already like, oh, it's like I've never done that before.
We've both been so obsessed with Tom Anderson guitars, and I go way back with Tom Anderson guitars as far as like the first time I saw one, and you know, I saw a good guitar player, and he's like, yeah, these are the best guitars, you know, and I was like, yeah, those are the best guitars, and even still, they're like, they don't get like huge amount of publicity, but they're just in their lane doing their thing. They're trying new things now, like they would never do the relics like 10 years ago, and now
they are.
They've made it part of their thing, and they're doing the 7 strings now, which is for some people, they love that. They love 7 strings. So that's definitely also on the list, but it's like those are, you know, that's like 2 Novos, you know, it can be so.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's like I believe in what they're doing, and I want to kind of keep it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, buddy. We got a buddy walking in for some stuff here, so we'll wrap it up. We got just leave us some comments below about what you guys think about some of the gear that we talked about. What do you think about the industry pricing as well? And thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it.
Yeah, see you guys.